Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris with BilletBox.info, and we got a video here to show you on the Cthulhu 520 tank. We got not one, but two of them. We're going to take a look at one, and then we're going to give away the other one. Let me just go ahead and say right away, the way to get into the other one will be like and comment on the video, and I'll randomly pick one of you that comment. And if you want it, you win it. Just one of you, though, because, well, I'm going to keep one and going to take a look at one and give one away. Keep and look at one and then give one away. So let me get a vape. When I took a look at the Cthulhu AIO, which, by the way, they also sent me a clear inner for it, which is really cool. It's not really focused, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm still using the SSPP panels on this one. Oops, that one's on backwards. Come on. There we go. The airflow is right there with the logo. So anyway, we're going to use that for this right here. They sent these to me. When they sent me this to take a look at, they were supposed to send me this to take a look at. So when I said, hey, where'd it go? They said, well, let's send you a couple of them. And, well, it's been a minute. But I think because of Chinese New Year, it took them a little while. But this is it, the 520. I'm interested in it because not only is it an RBA with the what's installed there, the 520 RBA, there are two adapters in here, here and here. This is a I believe that's your PMP adapter, and this is your Nautilus coil adapter. And so you can use this as an RBA or as a PMP or Nautilus coil bridge. Not sure why I'd use a Nautilus coil in 2022, but when I started 8 years ago, next month is my 8 years of vaping. Well, Nautilus coils came out after I started vaping, probably about a year later. So, but anyway, let's take a look at it. Oh, just to give you a heads up, I am going to take a look at it. I'm not always a fan of these all-in-one setups. I mean, the Orbit, the Vape Snail, there's others that have come out. I just prefer a device or an RBA that I could take in and out of a Boro, whatever Boro you choose to use. That's just my preference. I'm not going to knock one for being an all-in-one, but let's take a look at this thing. One thing to note, I'm giving y'all more screen, less of the little graphic stuff. I've kind of killed the graphics a little bit because, well, anyway. Yeah, so here we go. In the box, plastic box, a little logo or name of the tank, 4 Boro devices, and a little QR code on the back, a little scratch and sniff sticker. Special design reduce the effect of L-shaped airflow. Smooth and quiet vape experience designed for RDL and MTL vaping. Airflow 0.8 all the way up to 4.5, and that 4.5 is without a air pin in it, and the Boro itself has a 4.2 milliliter capacity. So let's take a look at this thing. First and foremost, you've got the bridge itself, the 520, and is that not seated properly? A little scratch on it. This might be the one that I opened up. No, this isn't it. I haven't tried one of these yet, but I did open one of them to see what kind of screws I was going to need, and it's flatheads. Because, well, I want to make sure I had my flathead screwdriver handy. So anyway, the tank itself is probably, feels like it's the same tank as what the Boro that comes with the RBA that comes with the Pulse or the Cthulhu AIO itself. It looks like the exact same tank. Let's try that. Let's take this out. Let's pull this piece out. It's a little dirty. It's been sitting around since I tested it. Just for giggles. Get off of my build mat. Just for giggles. Let's take all this out. This should just push out here. Alright, this is the new tank. This is the tank that came with the Cthulhu AIO. Let's see if we take this piece, put it on here, line it up. I think that's the same tank. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. This O-ring isn't fitting in it. Maybe it's not. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, now it's sitting in there. Yeah, so if you've got a Cthulhu already, I mean, if you're looking at the 520 tank for some other device, that won't apply to you. But if you already have the Cthulhu AIO, you got a spare tank. And the reason I say that is because this material that this tank is made of, it feels really thin. It feels like what the kind of tank that a tank cracker like a cinnamon or a citrus might actually destroy. So be careful if you use those. So this is it. Got an air or a juice fill port right there, and as you saw, the 520 RBA just pops up in here and sits right there. Now in the box we have this adapter here, which is I'm quite confident. Yeah, that's our PMP coil adapter. We'll take a look at that second. This should be our Nautilus adapter. Yep, that's the Nautilus adapter. And this should be the build adapter for putting it on your builder, which we'll go ahead and screw that on there because we'll use that in a few minutes. There's a separate deck here, and as far as I know, this should be the one that's used for the Nautilus coils. We're going to do that first, so I'm going to leave that out. And these are your airflow pins, 0.8 all the way up to 3.5. Without an airflow pin in it, it's going to be 4.5 millimeter. And I think that's a little bit too much, so I'm going to go with the 3.5. So we're going to go ahead and leave that out for when we build the RBA. And there's something down here, a little baggie with spares. Looks like we got some grub screws, a little Phillips or a flathead screwdriver, some fill port spares. Let's just put that in there. One thing I always tell people when you get something new like this, take your take all the pieces that you're not going to use and slap them back in a box so you won't lose them, including your build adapter. You know, that way you won't lose them in the future. So, all right, so let's see here. We're going to build the RBA second. It's all juicy because I wanted to do that test with the other tank. Like I said, the tank that came with it, with this RBA, with the Cthulhu AIO, is going to be a suitable replacement for this one, it looks like, if you need one. So let's do the Nautilus coil first. This is a used coil I found in an old mod because I knew I had some laying around. So the way you're going to use this, you're going to use this spare, the second one that's in the box, and you're going to take the positive side down, feed it through this. Then you're going to take the adapter, which is right here, and pop it down. Hold on, is this the right one? Yeah, that's it. And then make sure your air or your fill port's in the front. Well, it doesn't really matter on this one. And that's it. Now you're good to go. This particular one, I don't believe, because you push the coil down in from the top, you're not going to be able to replace that coil while there's juice in the tank with a BRIJG, which is current or before this. 520 was the only adapter for a Boro on the market for the GTX PMP coils. You can change out, you can pull the GTX coil or the PMP coil out of the bottom without taking out your with a full juice tank. I mean, you had to be careful and turn it up the right way. But anyway, there's your Nautilus coil in there. Let's make sure this reads 1.28, and it fires. I don't care about burning it up because, quite frankly, I will never use a Nautilus coil again. There's really no need. So take that out. That's how you do the Nautilus coil. So, and that uses, like I said, this clearish kind of smoked base that came in the bottom of the container. The bottom of the box right here. We're going to put that back because, like I said, I probably will never use that again. And the same with the adapter. We're going to put that back in here right here and probably never use it again. All right, 520, why are you in my way? All right, so with the PMP coils, you got two different types of PMP coils. You've got, I don't know what this is. This is a VM4, which is it's got a bigger head on it. This is what I use mostly when I'm vaping on them. And like I said, the PMP coils, this is the Bridge V2. That's what's in here is a VM4. And like I said, I'm kind of excited about this 520 because this is going to, if this works out well, this is going to be a low-cost alternative to the BRI JG, which if you want to see a comparison, I just did a video on these. This is the V1 and this is the V2. And I just did a comparison of those not too long ago. In fact, I just got another V2 right here. And that one's in stainless steel, where this one here is in kind of a gold. So anyway, the V2 is a little pricey. The gold one, I think, run me $110. So getting this 520 tank for $40, if this works well, is going to be a good thing. Okay, let's move out of the way there. All right, so the other, this is a VM4, and it's got that large head on it. This is also a PMP coil. This is also a 0.6, but this one is a little different. It's got a smaller head on it. And with the BRI JG, you know, one part goes into here and slides up, which that piece goes right on there. But the piece, that little section you see that's exposed there on the bigger one, that's how it mates up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this base. This is the same base that we have on the that we're going to use with the RBA. Airflow up front, airflow on the side. It's blocked on the left and the right side. My fingers are just so juicy right now. You're going to take the coil and you're going to push it up from the bottom. And that is not going in there very easily. What's wrong with that O-ring? Well, let's go with this one first. Push up from the bottom. Then take your adapter and mate it up here. There we go. Oops, that's not going to be super tight. Maybe when it's all put together, it'll be better off. Take and push it up into the tank. And at the top of that tank, that black O-ring is going to hold you in place there. Snaps right in. And that doesn't go up or down. That's good to go. One little tip about these things. If you have some connection issues, take your thumbnail or your fingernail and go around that edge and pull it out a little bit. Should help you with connection issues. Alright. So we're going to put that in here. And we're going to make sure this works. Should read about 0.6 to 0.7. PMP coils have a little variance. I've had some that read 0.65, some that read 0.6. Most of them read around 0.67. So 0.64 on this one. I'll probably use this one day, so I don't want to tear it up, but it is firing. Actually, I'll never use that one because I just burned it up right there. But that's how you do it with the small. Oh yeah, I burnt the heck out of that. I can smell it now. That's all right. They're only $3 or $4 each. Ouch. So we'll pull that back apart, and man, I shouldn't have done that. But for science, right? All right. So this one we're going to push up through the bottom, and what I'm telling you is that O-ring. Maybe when I get it all put together, it won't be so. It'll push up in there, but all right. So that mates up there. Then take your tank, slide it on there. Make sure that's sealed. Oh yeah, this is not good. This is not sealing. I could push it all the way up in there, but if I could still see those that O-ring, I don't feel very confident about that. Let's try it anyway, though. Yeah, if you look down there, it should look like that when it's all said and done, but I'm not getting this particular coil to, with this O-ring here, is not going in there. All right, let's just for giggles put it in here. I'll kind of hold it together until it gets in there. And then when I put this drip tip in it, I already pre-soaked this one so I can dry fire this one, or not dry fire it, but fire it. All right, this is probably not the way it should be. That should be good to go. It's sealed at the entrance there, but I don't know what it's going to do down here. So let's see if it's reading it. It's reading a 0.66. Let's go ahead and fill it up and see if we got any leaks right off the front. We'll go about half full. I feel like there's going to be a leak. I don't have any more of these coils to test either. This is my last one if I'm not mistaken. So, you know what? No, I don't have another. All right, go in. There. All right, so there we are. Let's see how it tastes. It's firing good. It is firing good. It works fine. Flavor's good. Only concern I worry about is having that seal. That should have slid right in there. That O-ring should have slid in there and held in place without me having to trick it by pushing it in there and then using the drip tip to put the pressure down on it. It is sealed, so I shouldn't have any leaking going into the chamber or into the chimney. But I'm worried about any seeping that could come as a result of what we did there. That tastes just like a PMP VM4 should taste, so it's working. All right, let's go ahead and just move on, though. I'll have to give it a whirl later. Go back down and let's look at the RBA section. Let me do this little trick here first. Get this drip tip off. Get this out. There was no leaking. Yeah, there is some condensation in the back, but that's from probably what I took out to get this ready for the video. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and dump this out back in here. I'm going to take this coil, push it back through, put it off to the side because I'm going to use that later. And get some paper towel, wipe my hands off, put this back together. And this video is going to also be longer than it really should be. But that's what happens when you have issues. So the PMP VM4s and the I think that was an M2 that I tried, the smaller the smaller tip that I used. I believe that one's called an M2, where the bigger, the larger base one is a VM4. So I'm going to put that aside. We'll take a look at that later. Get a little hand sanitizer and get some of this juice off my hand. All right, let's look at the RBA. So we're going to use the same base for the RBA as we did with the PMP coil adapter. Get a little juice out of this tank here. So I'm probably not going to use that same juice in this RBA. Oh man, what a mess of juice I've got going on here. All right, so like I said, the RBA is going to fit up in here like that and go through this base. There's our RBA. Dirty as it is because all this juice. All right, like I said, if I had this base on, that's not good. I don't like how that just falls out like that. Your airflow is going to be in the front, or if you're using something other than a billet box, like the Cthulhu, where the airflow comes only from the front, but also from the side for a billet or whatnot. So, all right, let's take a look. We'll take that base back off. Right here, we got our deck. Oh, one other thing I want to show you. This thing reminds me a lot of the bridged. It's a little taller, but it's the same kind of shape. So I just thought I'd point that out. The juice is going to come in to these little chambers here on either side, and there's a little juice well down here where you're going to put your cotton into there and there, and you got this clamp design here, very similar build deck to the bridge itself. This is the V1 bridge. It's very similar. I mean, like eerily similar. Very similar. But anyway, I'm not saying they copied or anything because, well, nobody copies. But okay, so to put, let's see how that the machining's not bad. The inside of that chamber, though, I kind of wish that was domed. That's like squared off, but we got plenty of room. You're not going to have any problems with your height of your coil going in there. So, but anyway, you got the 520 on the front. I believe that's probably going to be your serial number below it. Let's check that out. 2137 and 2165. Yeah, so that's your serial number right here under the logo. You could probably run it either way if you didn't want to show that 520 on the front. Machine looks decent. It's not like super shiny or anything, and it's actually two-toned right here. The top, see that little difference? Anyway, that's irrelevant especially for the price point here. Your positive pin is here, and to get to where we're going to put this 3.5 millimeter airflow pin in, like I said, that's going to be 4.5 wide open there. You just drop your pin in there and then screw this back on, and now we have a 3.5 millimeter airflow. Take you some tweezers or a screwdriver or whatever and just give it a little turn. Not too, you don't have to wrench it, but just enough to where it's not loose, so you get a good consistent solid connection. So anyway, let's build this thing. Where's that build adapter? Oh, I put it on here. I think you gotta take, do you gotta take that off? No, this should just thread right into there like that, right? Yep. Okay, you don't even have to take the 510, or you don't have to take anything off. You just screw it down into that, and there we have it. Let's build this thing. We'll go ahead and use one of these 3 millimeter coffin coils. I usually use the 3 millimeter in the bridged, and like I said, this deck, man, it's so juicy. This deck is about the same size, so let's go ahead and get my flathead screwdriver and back these out a little bit. All right, And these are 3mm, should come out to about 0.35, made by Coffin Coils. We'll grab one of these out of here. There we go. Oops. Come here. Don't jump. Get that out of the way. Grab me a coil rod here. My 3mm one. Should just slide right in there like this. Oh, I'll take those screws out a little bit more maybe. There we go. Another little turn. There we are. Alright, so I'm going to take my coil rod and just kind of set it down like that. Hold it in place. And screw these back down. I need to get a different camera angle here. Y'all can't see what I'm doing always. And, well, I don't know. Some of the YouTube guys y'all are probably watching also. They just fast forward through all this anyway. So, I'm boring. Alright, so I've got the coil dead center, and it looks like I've got it lined up just about perfect for where the chambers are here. I think that's one-shotted right there. Maybe I'll take that down just a tad. Just a tad. Line it up right there. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. So we're going to take our snips. Where are you, snips? And we're going to try to get as close as we can to the edges here, so that not to get a short when the chimney goes on. That should be fine there. Oops. Might have an issue with that one. That one came apart on me. We'll give it a try. Alright, so there we are. Let's see what we're reading before we start messing with it. 0.32. We put this cap on here. We didn't really change in resistance, so we're good with those leads there. Alright, let's clean them up. Get these hot spots out and stuff. There we go. It's starting to look pretty. I'm good with this. Yeah, perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but good enough. There we go. That's pretty. Alright, let's let that cool off 1 second. We'll move some of the stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and make sure it came out 0.37. Let's make sure that the cap's still... Okay, we're still 0.37. So we're good to go. Let's throw some cotton in that. I'm going to go with this Pro Vape cotton from BP Mods again. This should be my 3mm. 3mm. That's what I like so much about this, is that it's pre-sized for different coils. Get that right there. Just little twists on there. Get this fed through there. Here we go. Ooh. Don't like that. I don't want to booger it up. Come on, let's just get started, guys. Looking through the viewfinder. There we go. Alright. I like that. That's about perfect. That's the thing I like about this cotton, though. It's pretty much set up for that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little bit here. Just a little bit past the edge of the deck in the corners there. And then I'm going to kind of fluff that a little bit. Thin it out just a tad. And we'll try to pretty much do this just like with a bridged. Always thin it out just a little bit on the edges here. And then flip it up and pop it down in that. You don't want too much cotton, but you don't want so little that you're going to have leaking coming out of the juice flow here. You want to be able to see your cotton there. You want to get all the way to the bottom. And don't want anything covering up your airflow. And come over this side, do the same thing. Flip it down. And then I'm going to take the juice that I'm going to use. I think we're going to go with this Jam Monster Lemon. Sinful pleasure that I rarely get anymore because, well, anyway, I'm going to juice it up. I like it a lot, but it's not really a clean juice in my opinion. I'm trying to get away from all these dirty juices. Really need to start buying some of this premium stuff. Alright, so now I'm going to just kind of make sure it's all good to go there. Make sure no airflow is covered up. Everything, all the cotton's down in the channel. We got a little room there for some air, so we won't get a lock. A little more juice on there. And what do we come out with? Came out with a 0.37. And let's see. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and put this together, guys. Get y'all out of the way here. Alright, we're still at 0.37. Put that on there. Still at 0.37. Get this off the build adapter. And it came right out. I'm going to go ahead and keep the logo up front here. So now, all we have to do is it's all together there. Make sure that whatever you want on the front is the same as your fill port. Pop it up in there. And make sure that your airflow is front and left. Wait a minute. Oh, I got it upside down. That's why. Front and left. Pop that up there. Those O-rings should hold it in place there. And it looks like we're good to go. So we'll throw some juice in here. Fill it up. This is pretty, oh, I went too much. Oh, we have a mess already, guys. If I'm not already juicy enough, we got a little overfill going on here. Luckily, we got all these paper towels everywhere. I'm starting to see some bubbles happening already. Let's pop it in here. And what do we got? Reading 0.38. I'll take that down to 3.9 volts. 38.2 watts. Alright, let's put it together and take you up top here. I got so much junk in the way. Alright, first hit on the 520 RBA from Cthulhu Mods. Like I said, that's a 0.38 on coil, 3.9 volts. It's going to hit it about 40 watts. That ain't too bad. That's not too bad at all for a very inexpensive $40 RBA. This is with the 3.5 millimeter airflow pin in it. Put this back cover on here. Where's the back cover? There it is. We got airflow coming in here only, and maybe not really down here. The stock panels have a little ridge through here that takes air up in front of the body up to the front. Here we're only utilizing this logo here. So that didn't hit as good as the first two hits. It's not a dry hit, but it's tasted a little muted. Let me make sure it's not just the panel being on it. It's wicking. I'm getting bubbles coming up, but it's not keeping up with, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this 10 test. At first it was very saturated and very flavorful. These subsequent hits have been a little muted. I could still taste the flavor properly, but it's just not as vibrant as it was with that first hit. That, you know, where I pre-soaked it up and everything. It's wicking. You can see the bubbles coming up from that one hole there. But I don't know if it's wicking fast enough. And that build should have worked just fine. Maybe a little too much cotton. That's possibly our issue here. The flavors are not as great as I'd want it to be. With some tweaking, I think we can... Oh, there's a huge bubble. Oh, okay. The bubbles are getting bigger here. And the flavor is a little better now. That one was a little dry. Not dry. Muted, that's the word. I don't think this is going to keep up with a super fast 10 count. But I'm going to try it anyway. Let's just call that 2. 3. 4. It's not bad that time. 5. Still wicking. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. All right, let's open this thing back up. It kept up, but the flavor still isn't as good as I'd like it to be. Let's take a look at this thing. It's wicking. You see those bubbles coming up. It's doing its job. If I had it up and down, they'd go up. There we go. All right. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's get a paper towel just to be sure. I'm going to put a piece of paper towel right here. And we're going to take this thing out. And I'm going to attempt to open the base without dumping it. Most all-in-ones allow for this. I'm not sure if this one's going to allow that for this. Okay, that piece came out. Alright. It's not leaking. That's a good thing. The coil and the cotton look good, so I didn't burn anything up in there. I'm wondering if I just maybe have a little bit too much cotton in here, if I should have thinned it out a little bit more. This shouldn't be too much cotton. Let's kind of shape it up there and give it a little room to breathe. That coil's not moving, is it? No. Okay, let's see if I can do this without tearing anything up. Put that back down. This should just go right back down. All right, we didn't lose any juice. Clean that back up. I got a little bit of juice on the bottom when I did that. Slap it back in there and see if that gave, just kind of moving the cotton around a little bit, help out at all. Put the panel back on and come back up. About the same. Now let me make a comment here. The flavor isn't horrible. It's just not. I've got that same flavor, that same juice in here in the Hammer RBA right now. And the flavor is a little more vibrant in here. I mean, obviously that's a more expensive RBA. I'm not saying that it has to be expensive to be good. I mean, there are some, like the Cubics, very inexpensive RBAs that have really good flavor. But it's just not as good as that. Wicking just fine. Bubbles are flowing. Excuse me. Anyway, what do we got to say about it? For $40 US, and maybe 45 depending on the retailer you get it from, it's a really good RBA for that. The deck was super easy to build on. Kind of wish, whoa, hold on a minute, yeah, look at this. It's breaking in a little bit. Watch this. Actually, let me get my finger where I can show you right away. All right, let's not cover the air. Bubbles are going a little quicker now. All right. You know what, guys? That little pushing around the cotton made a difference. This is tasting a lot better as we're sitting here talking about it. Okay. That's good. I sound so wishy-washy, but it has gotten better in the last few minutes, and it's a lot more saturated now. Okay. I was a little bit I don't want to say apprehensive, but I didn't go into this really expecting it to have be that great. I mean, I'm not knocking a mass-produced RBA that has a very good price point, but I don't usually expect a whole lot from a $40 RBA. So with this one, you get your RBA, you get a Nautilus coil adapter, which I don't know why you'd use, and the PMP adapter, which worked. Hopefully, that one particular coil that I used, the O-rings on it, or maybe just something's jacked up about this O-ring, and that it fits in there, because it should just pop right in like it did, like I said, and that O-ring should hold it in place. I shouldn't have had to do what I did to make it work, but you get all those airflow pins, go all the way down to mouth to lung, and I've heard from a couple people that have talked about it in the Cthulhu forum that the mouth to lung is actually pretty decent with this. Again, I don't do mouth to lung, so This is the one that somebody's going to win, but just to show you, if you're looking down at the bottom over there, well, anyway, which way? That way. That way. There we go. You get the RBA, you get a tank, which, I don't know how long that tank will last if you use tank crackers. You get an adapter, all these airflow pins, the two coil adapters, all this for $40. I'm going to say that that's a bargain. The flavor is actually, now obviously the flavor of a PMP coil is going to be reliant upon the coil itself, and I already know these VM4 coils, which I use already in other PMP adapters, the Bridge and the Bridge V2, are stellar. I get 3 or 4 really good days out of it, and about 4 or 5 more decent days out of them. But the first day of a 0.4 VM or 0.6 ohm mesh VM4 is great. So if anything, you want that just for the PMP adapter if you want to use PMP coils. That 3mm coil that I popped in there is working really good, and it's wicking much better than it did initially, and the flavor is actually improving. I really, other than possibly the chamber, if they would have rounded out that chamber and made it more conical than squared off, I think that could have enhanced the flavor a little bit. Yeah, look at all those bubbles. Look at all those bubbles popping up right there. Anyway, bubbles don't mean anything, but yeah. Really good bargain for 40 to $45 in my opinion. Flavor is good now. Like I said, that very first hit was really good, and then it started to mute a little bit, maybe a little dry. But after I monkeyed with that cotton, it's good and saturated and wicking much better now. And it could be just the break-in of the cotton, but this Pro Vape cotton usually comes right out kicking. I really don't have any negatives to say about it. The tank itself could be improved, but that would also probably improve the cost of it. But yeah, really nice if you want to give it a try. I'm not going to put it up there and compare it to some of the big hitters, but the flavor's on par with some of the best. I mean, let's try this again. This is the hammer. Very good flavor. And that's I'm using a different coil in this one. I think I'm using, it comes out to 0.58. So there's a little difference in that. And like I said, this is a 0.37. I'm going to carry this one to work with me tomorrow. I might not even mess with the PMP coil until I get done fooling with this. Another super long video from Chris at billetbox.info. I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I try to do this on the fly with very little, prior knowledge of these things. The way I look at it is if I can take this out of the box and put it together without really have, studied how to do it, I mean, that's what it is what it is. I shouldn't have to, have a degree to figure out how to build a RBA for a billet box or a Cthulhu AIO or whatever. Color me impressed. But anyway, Chris, billetbox.info. If you want one of these, the extra one, like and comment on the video, and in a few days, let's just say Friday evening, I'll come out somewhere around 11 o'clock midnight Central Time. I'll go through and take all the comments and do a randomizer, pick one of you guys, and whoever wins it, if you want it, it's yours. If you don't, in the U.S., postage is on me. If you're overseas, we'll figure something out. But I really don't want to spend $40 bucks on a $40 RBA out of my pocket to send it to one of you guys. So hope you can understand that. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Chris, Billet Box Info. As always, I do appreciate y'all watching.